They've mastered the game and are ready to share the knowledge. Chief Mate, let us guide you.
Greetings, ensigns. Your road to victory begins with learning the fundamentals of both armored piercing and high explosive shells. These are better known as AP and HE shells. The vast majority of ships in the game, whether it's a destroyer or a battleship, will carry both AP and HE shells. The Royal Navy cruiser line is a unique anomaly in which they carry only AP shells. There also might be future ship releases that have only one or the other shell type. First, it's important to know the differences between both types of shells and what they do. Armored piercing shells are designed to penetrate the armor of a ship and bury deep inside before exploding. They have the ability to do massive damage by penetrating a ship's citadels. Citadels are vital areas like the boiler room or turrets where the ammo is stored. While AP shells can cause massive damage, they can also bounce off enemy ships if they have strong enough armor and are angled properly. They can also shatter if the armor is too thick, and they might even overpenetrate a ship, punching right through it. As a side note, destroyers don't have citadels, and your AP shells are more likely to overpenetrate them. Don't let that dissuade you from using AP against them though. High explosive shells are designed to explode on contact with enemy ships. They cause a lot of collateral damage as well, destroying ship modules near where they land. Because they explode on impact, they're much easier to use than AP shells, and have the bonus ability of being able to set fires on ships. This is something AP shells cannot do. These fires can be devastating to an enemy ship, and will continue to burn, slowly depleting the enemy ship's hit points until the fire either burns out or is repaired. You can even start multiple fires on a ship, which will deplete the enemy's hit points even faster. The downside to HE shells is that they don't cause quite as much potential damage as AP shells do, and that fire damage can be healed 100% on ships that have heal consumables. Cruisers, especially in the low to mid tiers, are more suited to using high explosive shells against enemy battleships. Their AP shells often can't penetrate a battleship's thick armor, but their HE shells can start fires that'll make a battleship think twice about pushing forward. Cruisers' AP shells in these tiers will still be effective against other cruisers, and will be able to citadel cruisers that are unfortunate enough to go broadside to your ship's guns. Battleships in the low to mid tiers should be mostly using armored piercing shells against cruisers and battleships alike. Even when angled properly, cruisers will have trouble deflecting battleship AP shells with their weak armor. Enemy battleships might be a little tougher for your AP to penetrate. If you find one bow onto you, or well angled, it's not a bad idea to switch to high explosive rounds. By doing this, you'll cause more damage and you might just set the enemy on fire. Both cruisers and battleships should use HE against destroyers. It'll do much more damage than AP. As a battleship, you might not have the time to switch shells quickly if a destroyer suddenly appears. If you have to, there's nothing wrong with using AP against destroyers. Some damage is better than no damage at all. Destroyers can be tough to play as gunboats in the low to mid tiers, but their high rate of gunfire gives them a good chance of setting fires on both cruisers and battleships alike when using HE. If you're in a destroyer, don't be afraid to use AP against cruisers and even battleships if you find yourself in a knife fight with them. Even though destroyers carry the smallest guns, they can still penetrate armor at very close range. Now that you know what the differences between AP and HE are, and when you should use them, it's probably helpful to know where to aim. We'll use broadside ships for these examples to make it easy. With AP shells, you'll want to aim for the waterline. This is where you'll find the quickest way to an enemy ship's citadel. When aiming at the waterline, you even have a chance your AP round will hit below the waterline, where the enemy's citadel is even less protected. If leading ships with your aim is harder for you, there's nothing wrong with trying to land your shots in the center of the ship. You'll at least find the boiler there. If your aim is a little better, you can aim forward to land shells in the gun turret citadels, which are sometimes less protected. For HE shells, you'll want to aim at the top of the ship's hull. The goal is to land your shots on the enemy ship's superstructure. If you land your HE on the ship's superstructure, the damage will be magnified because it's less armored. In addition to that, you increase the chance of collateral damage by knocking out modules like AA guns, which are unarmored. So there you have it. You have now successfully learned the fundamentals of HE and AP shells. You know what to use, when to use it, and where to aim. Remember though, practice makes perfect, and this is only a guide. The more you play, the better you will know what works best for you. Thanks for watching. Zoup out.
They've mastered the game and are ready to share the knowledge. Chief Mate, let us guide you.